Hello and welcome to another episode of Attacking Third, a CBS Sports soccer podcast. I'm Sandra Herrera, lead NWSL writer for CBS Sports, joined today, as always, by my colleague and co-host Lisa Roman, NWSL broadcaster and analyst for CBS Sports. On today's episode, we've got a special interview for the NWSL playoffs ahead of the quarterfinals. Please subscribe to us on YouTube so you never miss out whenever we go live. Today, we are joined by Houston Dash defender, Ironwoman, 105 of the league and for Houston Dash, Katie Naughton. Welcome to the show.
Hi, guys. Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
We're excited to have you. We were so amped to see that we were going to be able to interview you ahead of the quarterfinal. You're joining us as Houston is on the verge of hosting their first ever playoff. Congratulations are in order there. So congrats. There's definitely been a little bit of a shift this week as we look ahead to the quarterfinals. It's been a heavy week or so, last 8 or 9 dates. There was the release of the U.S. Soccer Sally Q. Yates investigative report. And so notably, there's been a little bit of a shift, a transition, having to go from perhaps reacting to something like that, having heavy conversations around that individually as teammates, friends, family, and then also having to sort of mix that and combine that with preparations for something like a playoff. So let's just start with that. We'd like to ask you how you are doing, if you have any reactions to that, and sort of, where the team is at right now in the midst of all that.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, it's been a heavy couple of weeks, but after the report dropped, I think all of us were a bit relieved to see that the Yates report did find that things had been going on wrong in the league and finally starting to address it. And hopefully justice will be served for players that had to go through some pretty traumatic and horrible experiences. But I think for us as a club and maybe as a league collectively, I think we're just trying to take it day by day and make sure that we're looking out for each other, looking out for ourselves, getting the proper, care that we need, whether it be therapy, mental health resources, whatever it is. We're just all trying to look out for each other to the best of our ability. And yeah, I think for a lot of us, soccer is an escape. So being able to train still is a blessing, and to have that be our outlet is really great. And I think we're all trying to take advantage of that right now.
Is it just about maybe finding the simple things and trying to find, the joys of just sort of being each other and preparing for a big game right now?
Yeah, 100%. I think a big motto for us this year has been trying to celebrate the little victories. So that comes in many shapes and sizes and forms. And I think we've done a really good job of that throughout the year. And this is no exception. So whenever someone makes a great tackle or scores a banger in training, we all try and celebrate all those moments. So we're just continuing to do that to the best of our ability.
You're not only celebrating the little victories that you guys have accomplished, but you've made it into the postseason for this Houston Dash team. This is huge. You've not only made it, but Houston gets to host a quarterfinal. And as a team, as you're shifting your mindset to prepare to host and compete in the playoffs, it's so easy to look back and reflect on the 2020 Challenge Cup when Houston lifted that trophy. You were part of that championship team, but now it's the NWSL regular season, postseason. How does this prep for a quarterfinal match in the NWSL playoffs? How is that different than the Challenge Cup run in 2020?
Yeah, so obviously 2020 was amazing for us, given the circumstances, but this just feels very different for me, at least. I just feel like we've done so much over the course of the last 3 years since I've been here, at least, and it's finally starting to show and pay off. And I think a lot of people kind of wrote us off. They kind of thought that the Challenge Cup in 2020 was a fluke for us, and now we're in the postseason in a regular season playoff run, and it's just incredible. And now we're starting to kind of gain some respect, I think, and some notoriety, which is incredible. I think we're on the verge of selling out our stadium, which would be incredible. I know we've already broken the attendance record in terms of sales, so hopefully that continues to grow and we really just make a statement. I mean, we've come this far, so why not keep going?
I'd love to hear you sort of speak about how this year was a little bit of an opportunity or a challenge that you all sort of embraced as a team, sort of looking back just at that Challenge Cup and then to 21 and then 2022. It's a little bit different, right? The energy of a Challenge Cup versus a long regular season. It's a real grind. And sometimes teams find themselves in the mix and sometimes teams find themselves out of it. And with 2021 came down to a final decision day there. It was tough. Some things didn't go the team's way, but this year, much different. You all have gone on an incredible run, and it was really cool to see the Dash have certain stretches or phases of the season where they went on these incredible runs. What was it about this particular regular season that sort of was so different for you or has felt special in different ways compared to 2020 or 2021?
Yeah, I mean, I think given the end of last season in 2021, we missed out by 1 point. So we were all pretty pissed that that was the case. And we knew that this year, every game was going to matter. We knew every single point was going to add up in the end, and it did. I mean, it was such a tight table for pretty much the entirety of the season. So I think that was just always in the background of our minds. And yeah, we definitely went through some adversity, but I think honestly that kind of brought the group closer together. We just really wanted to fight for each other, and if someone was having a bad day, like everyone else around them was gonna, help pick up the slack. And we've done a good job, and I'm really positive with how we're gonna be in this next game and hopefully continue that trend.
Katie, you just talked about it, how the entire city of Houston is so excited for this playoff game. Over 14,000 tickets sold, are continuing to push that number higher and higher. There are huge fan fest preparations, but I want to know from your perspective, you're laced up in your boots, you're standing on the pitch. What is the difference between an away regular season game versus a home packed stadium playoff game for you as a player?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know if there are words to describe that. I have, from previous experience, have had the opportunity to have a home playoff game in the league, and it was a game changer for us. It's pretty much the 12th man for us out there. They support you when you're doing well. They boo the refs when there's bad calls. So I'm so excited to, kind of showcase our talent to the city of Houston, because they've been with us through everything. And this is just one way of giving back to everything that they've done for us and the fans that are just so incredible here.
We're excited to witness it too. I mean, all of that stuff just sort of sets the scene for everything. It's been very exciting to sort of see how the club is really sort of making this push to ensure that there's a great experience for everyone involved, those in the stands and the players on the pitch. In terms of still sticking with things on the pitch, for you this season, something else that's come out of it is you earned Iron Woman honors, and the league put out a really cool graphic the other day highlighting about 5 players or so who share that honor for the league. But for Houston, it's absolutely yours, playing every single minute of this regular season. What is it about center backs like holding it down for their back lines this year? What was this like the type of responsibility was it something that you anticipated at all?
I never really anticipate being an Iron Woman. I think I just, do whatever I can for the team. And if that involves me playing every minute, so be it. If not, then that's okay too. But I'm just really grateful that I was able to stay healthy and fit throughout the entire season, and knock on wood that continues. But yeah, I think we just have some really incredible resources here that make sure that all of us get the care and treatment that we need. So we are prepared to, take the field every day, and then every weekend for the games.
Super Iron Woman, super defender, Katie. That's really what you are. But you've got some incredible teammates as well. You've got forwards Ebony Salmon, Maria Sanchez, Nichelle Prince, Michelle Alozi, Michaela Obama. These players are doing incredible things on the pitch. They're scoring goals and they're putting defenses under so much pressure. But you, as a defender, go against them every single day in training. And I'm a former defender. I've got to know what is the hardest part about defending against the Houston Dash forwards, because they are so talented.
Yeah, that's a great question. I think I'm so lucky that I do get to go up against players of such caliber every day, because it only makes me a better player and teammate. and it really gives me an appreciation for their position. But yeah, I mean, pretty much our entire front line is just so crafty and fast and so quick on the turn and dribble. So it's exciting to see them do that on the field, but it's really difficult to defend against it every day. And sometimes, it takes a shot at your confidence. But I think it's great, that I do get that ability, and so much credit to them because they're putting in the extra work every day and making sure they're staying sharp and on top of it. So I like it when I can just sit back and watch them do their thing up front. And I'm like, keep the ball up there, guys. It's great.
Oh yeah. I've got to know, are there any like nutmeg challenges during practice, or have they ever gotten you? Do you ever get them? What's the battle there?
So not usually in the drills. If that does happen, that's embarrassing. But we do 5v2 pretty much every day, rondos. So I think the person that actually megs people the most is probably Sophie Schmidt. She gets everyone. Like she just times it up and gets you good. So yeah, she's probably the nutmeg queen on our team. But
Crafty.
Yeah.
Crafty veterans look at you every time, I swear.
Exactly.
Let's chat. We've been a little bit reflective in talking about the season as a whole. I kind of want to stay with that energy for a little bit in this question, because in this quarterfinal, y'all are going up and hosting Kansas City Current. And when we're looking back a little bit at 2022 as a whole, we've got two teams who have played each other a handful of times now in this year. So there's always that concept of like, is familiarity going to lead to a more interesting game perhaps between these two teams? So for you, having played Kansas City Current a couple of times in the Challenge Cup, a couple of times in the regular season, now looking ahead to postseason, what are you looking forward to going up against them potentially for a fifth time here?
Yeah, I think they're probably one of the teams that we've played the most this season. So it's really going to be just I think, tactical battle for a lot of it, because we have played them so much, but they have a pretty stacked team. So we got to just make sure that we keep their key players at bay and impose our style and will on them as fast as possible, because they've shown that they can capitalize often. So if we can stick to our game plan and minimize theirs, I think that's our best shot of, securing a victory and moving on in the playoffs. But it's going to be a fun game. I think we're a good matchup for each other. And I think it's been a pretty back and forth battle throughout this season with us. So yeah, I mean, time will tell, but I'm confident in our side.
It has been a battle in so many matchups between the Challenge Cup and the regular season between Houston and Kansas City. And as we talked about, you're the Iron Woman. You've played in all the games and all the minutes. When you look back at Houston's matches against Kansas City specifically, is there anything that stands out to you that you remember the most from those games? Whether it's something that Kansas City did that you guys really turned around in training that next week, or maybe something Houston did, or a specific play, or anything that your team did that's so memorable from those matches?
Yeah, I mean, they're a super transitional team and they've got some pace up front. So for us, I think it's just making sure that we don't give them that many transitional opportunities. And then they're really crafty on their set pieces. I think almost every week they've got something up their sleeve. So we just really got to make sure that we're tuned in every second of the game, because one trick play could, put them on the score sheet. So that's something I think we have taken away from this season just as a whole. And I think set pieces have been such a critical, game changer this year for every group and every team. So if we can continue to make sure that we're staying locked in, I think we'll be good. But yeah, that's definitely some takeaways from them.
Love that. I want to maybe, before we close out and have some fun questions, maybe give you a one final reflective or evergreen kind of question, just because we're entering postseason and anything can happen. So I just wanted to give you a chance to maybe talk a little bit about maybe something that you're most proud of this Houston Dash team this year, because this team has been through a lot of different things on and off the pitch. There's been players in, there's been players out, shifting coaches. What is it about this Houston Dash team that you're so proud of in 2022?
Yeah, I think honestly, it's just our resilience, our ability to bounce back from unsure circumstances. But yeah, the way that we've just rallied around each other and really have stuck to our guns and, have just really made it a priority to look after each other on and off the field. I think that's what's special about this group is a lot of the times, like, we want to see each other outside of training and hang out, and not just at the facility, but really get to know each other as people. And I think that's translated onto the field as well. I mean, you can tell that when we're on, we're really gelling, and it's because, you know, we actually know about each other and we can read each other, and that's really exciting, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
Love it. Love to hear that. Let's have a
Love
little bit of
that.
fun to close out the show. We always try to ask our player interviews like some more like fun questions to sort of close out. A lot of it has been the go-to beverage question, like what's the coffee order or the pre-training or post-training kind of you know, beverage order that you might you know, partake in. And you could answer that one if you like, but I'd also like to ask an additional question, because in the build-up to preparing for a quarterfinal, maybe you're doing some other different things, or trying to make sure that you're taking care of yourself in other ways. Is there something that you're doing this week to ensure that you turn your brain off completely? Is there a show that you're binging right now? Is there a playlist that you constantly got going? Let us know.
Yeah, I guess I'll start with my coffee order. I'm pretty basic. I like an iced oat milk latte. So
Sandra, we have to start
basic.
keeping tally of how many people say like oat milk latte, whether it's iced or hot, but oat milk latte is like the go-to answer. But I love an oat milk latte.
Yeah.
I'm just as basic. Don't worry.
Not
Pretty
basic.
simple.
Just go with classic. Not basic.
Exactly. But in terms of preparing for this game, honestly, I'm just doing everything I normally do. I feel like we've gotten this far for doing what we've done, so why change it up too much, you know? I think for me, I do definitely like my downtime, and that's usually comes at night. I'm definitely a night owl. So right now the shows I'm watching are The Rings of Power, which is the Lord of the Rings prequel.
Yep.
House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones prequel.
Yeah.
And just finished the Jeffrey Dahmer show, which is
Oh,
pretty dark,
My.
really dark.
No,
But
Katie Naughton, you're one of those. You're exposing.
I am. I'm sorry. I like the true crime stuff, but that one got me. Like, that one was pretty intense.
Oh my, I guess it's appropriate for spooky season, right? It's October.
Exactly.
Here
Spooky
we are.
season.
All right,
Yeah.
Katie. Listen, best of luck to you in the quarterfinal. We want to thank you so much for joining us and chatting with us today ahead of such a big game for you in the Houston Dash. Thank you so much for being here. Good luck and congrats on making it into another postseason. Thanks to everybody for listening. We always like to thank our audience at the end of the show for joining us. So thanks everybody for following along and listening to our interview with Katie. Remember to catch her on the Houston Dash against Kansas City Current in the quarterfinals Sunday, October 16th. And we will be back with a full weekend recap of all the quarterfinal action. For Sandra, Herrera, Lisa Roman, and Katie Naughton, this was Attacking Third.